Okay, hey, so this video is all about the new Tomoe River paper. So there was an article that came out. I'll link it in the description if I can't make a card out of it to throw on the screen, saying that there's some changes to the manufacturing process of how Tomoe River paper is made, that this impacts all Tomoe River paper products. There is no differentiating between old and new. And I think I have a book of the new Tomoe River paper, and I wanted to just go through, do some pen tests, some watercolor tests, some highlighter tests, and see how it stands up, because I think it's different. If that's something you want to watch, stick around, and let's get started. So I have no clue how long this video is going to be. I will put timestamps of the different media that I'm trying as I get to it down below. So if there's a specific thing you want to see how it compares, you can jump to there. So I have, this is an Aname A5 that I cut down to wide. I bought this year, so I just got it recently, and I was journaling in it, and I'm about, I don't even know, at least 30 pages into this book, and I was noticing that it feels remarkably different than the last, throwing things everywhere, than the last journal that I used, right? Which weirdly I didn't pull over here. So okay, whatever, we're just gonna run with it. This is my last stology. So I have, basically we're gonna do a comparison of old Tomoe River paper to new Tomoe River paper and stology paper, because I think there's a lot about this that's kind of similar to both, and I'm kind of interested in seeing how it plays out. I noticed when I was journaling with this that it does not, it doesn't get that written on, almost cloth-like feel that Tomoe, like, thoroughly, of course, I start filming and start coughing. Really written on Tomoe River paper gets. And that's how I figured, I think I have some of the new Tomoe River paper. You can see, maybe you can see, I can see that you do get impressions. So it does get used, and it is softer than written on stology paper, but this is going to be a long video of me feeling notebooks, I can tell already. It's different. I don't know what else to say. So this is my original Hobonichi. This is like the first Tomoe River paper that I ever came in contact with, and I've just been using it as scratch paper to some degree. This is the original Naname 7 Seas writer that I used as a journal. Obviously I've watercolored in it. I have Poscas that I want to test, and I have a dip pen that I want to test, and we're going to test it with this Chiku-Rin, no, what the hell did I just say? Chiku-Rin by Iroshizuku, the Pilot Iroshizuku, because I know it shades really well, and this is a very broad writer. So this is a wonderful mess I have going on right here. For just brevity's sake, let's pull out the white and the black. Well, maybe those are, let's do the white and the black and the aqua. Shall we? I've never, I don't know that I've ever written with Poscas in a notebook before, like on purpose. All right, so this is Posca, I'm just gonna call this aqua. These are the extra fine, like the super duper fine. I'm just gonna put down a really thick, and then I want to do it here. All right, I feel like that was not entirely fair because I kind of got it going on that one. So we're gonna start here. This is just stupid. Why did I do the white? It is writing, you can see. Oh, best laid plans. Oh, I forgot. I want to do Stology too. Am I even on frame? No, of course not. This is gonna be one of those videos. All right, we'll start on the Stology this time. I find these extra fines get kind of splattery because they're like a I need a bigger table. They're like they're a plastic nib. Uh-oh, I can't write and talk at the same time. Okay, phase one. Shall we do, let's do mild liners and super tips. I don't own Tomoe brush pens because I don't know how to brush letter. So, and these are sort of markers that my daughter and I share. So I can't make with the things. I think this color difference is just like the way Naname does it, because like you can see, maybe you can see, yeah, good, I'm on frame. You can see that these are the same color. So I think it's just the difference between ivory and cream. Oh, let's try and get it super broad since I was that was my page flag. This is good. So by the time I get to like the actual watercolors and the, God, my desk, if you all could see it. Well, let's just say there's a reason you don't have that angle. I don't even know if these mild liners work, I guess. Okay, this one does. Oh, these are just like random colors that I had on my desk. Okay, let's move the giant bottle of ink out of the way. Are we on frame? No, we're not on frame. Maybe the watercolors need to just marinate off frame. Okay. Everybody's favorite, the gray. This one's a little old. You can see that it's a little old. Hopefully this one's juicier. So far, I think the biggest difference is just the way it feels. So the way it interacts with writing that feedback that you get on the paper from the standpoint of ink. Okay, so I don't have a ton of gel pens. I really do prefer fountain pens, but we're just gonna write Sunday. These don't really smear. That one kind of smears on the Stology. Oh, we get some smearing on this one. I hope that was on frame. So this is the Uniball Signo, the Ultra Micron, Ultra Micro. I think this is the 0.38 point. I'm not sure. This is the same thing, but in blue. Oh, that smeared a little bit. Lots of smearing. But I mean, that was a really quick smear test. Like, I didn't give that any time to dry. All right. And then I have a Simply Gilded pen here that is brand new. I have not used. I think it's a gel pen. We're just gonna try it. Oh, it's a thicker. Oh, I put that on the wrong side. So that smears. Whoa, that smears a lot. If I'm gonna have this kind of dry time, I might as well use a fountain pen. I'm like living under a rock that I don't understand that these smear like this. All right, so this Sunday I wanted to test with a highlighter. Yeah, total smearing. Awful. Not really surprising. If I take this one and I write over, it works. I don't think I'm on frame if I do this. Okay. All right, so that's basically the pens. Let's start with the fountain pens. Oh, I have these so these are those crazy dual metallics, hybrid dual metallics. That Posca white cracking me up. Why did I pick this color? Okay, this is purple. It doesn't look like it. These bleed through on Stology paper. I'm throwing fountain pens on the floor. I feel this weird time pressure. Oh, it's not purple. That was the black. No wonder it didn't look purple. No. Oh, yeah, so I just like inked myself. Okay, just a little ghosting. I actually didn't do so bad. I feel like I tested this somewhere else. Yeah, so ghost, like pretty solid ghosting on this paper. This is gonna be impossible to timestamp. Huh, I don't know how I'm gonna timestamp it. Ghosting, all right. So let's take a look on this side. We've got Posca Aqua. So aqua, white, black. It's really not the one you care about. All right. Aqua, white, black, and then all the super tips and the mild liners and the gel pens. Is this on frame? And okay. So pretty much everything ghosts, especially the Posca black. But I mean, who's gonna write with a black marker, paint marker? Okay. So here, for comparison's sake. I mean, who hasn't seen how Hobonichi paper works, right? And then Stalogy paper. I'm pretty sure these pen tests have been done by everybody, but just for the sake of comparison, I wanted to get them all on the same thing. Oh, I do have like a drawing pen. This one's really not the best one. 0.005 little pen. It smears. You really can't get much finer than that. You can't see it because the little cap came off, but maybe you can see it right there. 0.005. So point. Yep. And maybe in frame right here. This is awesome handwriting. Wow, it actually did really well on the Stalogy paper. And I guess the Hobonichi paper. All right. This is the part that I care about. So I want to start with the dip pen. This guy holds a lot of ink. It's a really cool. I got it on eBay. It's all acrylic, even the tip. It does screw off, and you can get like an actual fountain pen. And it came with a converter as well, but it makes for a cool dip pen. It writes very broad, so we're gonna do it actually performs better on this paper than on Stalogy paper when I tested it. All right, just gonna make sure it's well loaded, even though it already was. So it writes much wetter here. Like, I'm able to actually see the ink pooling, so I imagine I'm gonna get better shading on this paper than I did on this one. I'll just see if I can get, there we go. So that's where it starts to pool. And obviously, it doesn't have exceptionally high dry time. Let's do, am I on? I'm on, not on frame. I did a test with this in my current Stalogy, which is totally in another room, and I put that complete. What am I doing? You just dip it in water. I went to put the cap back on. You just dip it in water and then it cleans off, right? Dip pen, brilliant. Okay, then I'm gonna put the cap on, set it aside. So this is where we're at. Let's see if I can get all of these. Actually, let's be smart and put the lid on the giant jar of mess waiting to happen on my tiny little desk. Okay, let's get these all in frame here. So maybe you can see the shading. It's definitely more pronounced on the old Tomoe River paper than the new. That could possibly be because it is like a cream paper. I need to find my my old Naname. Okay, I'm back. This is the journal I just finished, and so it just feels so different. I want to show you how this looks on this paper. It is a different color than this one, but I think this it shades up differently. So let's get some ink. Just dipping ink. I don't need a lot because this actually holds quite a lot. You do have to be careful about the angle. Iroshizuku, Chiku-Rin. Ren. So this is another older Naname. Their B6 Slim when they had the boxes. Where did I put my paper towel? I do not know. Okay. So you get some shading on the Stalogy paper. It's like it dries matte on the Stalogy paper, right? Whereas here, I'm doing it again. I should put the lid on. It's like the first rule in fountain pen, dip pen doing thingies. It's got more of a sheen, like it's shiny in both of these. I don't know if you can see it. And then here, it's a little bit more matte. I'm hoping this is on camera. Can you see? Can you see the difference? I can see it in just sunlight. So it's like, see if you can, all right. So that's a little sad. It does shade incredibly well. Like if you can see here where I got a whole lot of like really wet writing on it, down here you do get a lot of shading. So if you're gonna use this with like a broad nib, double broad, a stub nib, something like that, I imagine it's gonna look really awesome. Yeah. Okay. So, you know what? I was gonna use this to compare watercolors. I'll do that in a minute. All right. These are all of my currently inked babies. And I know I said I was only gonna use 6, but what happened is, oh, this one's not inked. I actually cleaned it. This is the one I cleaned. I just never cleaned the other ones. So, and I think this one doesn't have any ink left in it. This was the Asagao, also by Iroshizuku. I think on the whole, Iroshizukus are very well performing inks, especially in Stalogy paper. There's a couple where they don't do well. I'm just gonna do like a scribble test. Most of these are fine. Yep, here, I've run out of ink. See, it's like, it's dry. So I just need to clean this. All right, so let's see if I can't be smarter about my workspace layout. Okay. So much juggling. All right, good. I think we're in business. Okay, so this is, I think it's Laywine's, right here. It's a Laywine cement gray. All right. It was Lexington gray by Noodlers, but I'm gonna need to turn these just so I can write. But I changed it out. This is also a medium nib, and so I thought this shades really nicely. So this is Laywine cement Grey. And if I can get really wet and scratchy, maybe it'll make for a good test. So then this is the old, so the Hobonichi, old Naname, new Naname, Stalogy. So cement gray. This is just going to be better because of the angle that I'm writing at. One of the things that I will say is this does shade very nicely. This shades differently, I think, than like original Hobonichi paper or the previous Naname paper, but better. I can't talk and write. Oh, I put an A in there. I put an A in here too. It's an E. Oh, I did it here as well. Oh my gosh, so I got 1 out of 4 right. Tells you how I think of spelling gray. The American way. Okay. And then, I don't know how to spell that. This is, again, Iroshizuku. I need a new, oh, should have started this on another page. Okay. Do this just so I don't have to go back. E-Y. All right. This is Ku-Jaku, which is like their peacock. I'm falling off screen. The peacock, like blue-green color by Iroshizuku. I have a lot of Iroshizuku. This is also an extra fine nib, but I bent it ever so slightly by just like putting it down and putting a little pressure on it to make it a little wetter because I wasn't liking the way it wrote. So do that at your own risk. You can totally mess up your nib doing that, but it does add a little bit of ink flow. It's gonna fall off. I'm gonna learn how to spell Iroshizuku. Just for funsies, same kind of smeary potential on all of them, right? Not even on frame. 4 notebooks is too many to swatch. All right, I don't know how many people will find this super interesting. If you want, I can come back and do like a straight up ink test of all of my inks, which actually, I don't know that I can do that. I have like a whole drawer full of samples that I somehow acquired. What the hell color is this? It's purple. I think it's Rohrer and Klingner Cassia. I don't know how that's spelled. I think that's it. Huh. This was not the right one to test this on because I'm not going to show you the backside. Also, I wrote on the backside. Maybe I'll off camera see if I have a blank page I can swatch. So I think my fountain pen, I think my watercolors are probably done cooking. All right. Let me, yeah. All right, hold please. Okay, sorry for that. I went ahead and found a page that's blank on the backside of this old Naname. I did 4 different inks other than the Chiku-Rin that we already talked about. There's the Laywine Cement Gray. This is a medium nib in TWSBI Echo. This is the Iroshizuku Ku-Jaku in an extra fine. Cassia by Rohrer, I never say this right, and Klingner, I think. Also, I want to say extra fine. And then Tsuki-Yo, also by Iroshizuku in a fine nib. And this is probably one of my favorite fountain pen inks. It's a blue-black. It's really beautiful. Put those to the side. So first up, you can see here that There is some shading that comes through. You can kind of see the shading here in the Laywine, in the medium nib. I think if I had this in a bigger nib, like, actually, let's do it, because I have a bottle and I have a dip pen and I am interested in seeing if I can get this to shade. I do like how the new Tomoe River paper shades. It doesn't have quite the same like shininess on it when it shades. Oh, that's a wet line. So we'll see how this shades out across all of the different papers. I don't know why I'm dipping in between. It really does hold a lot of ink. I mean, like, I could probably write an A5 page with just that. And then clean off the pen, close up the ink bottle. I'm very proud of myself. I have marginally inked my hands. All right, cap back on. Okay, that's still drying because it's pretty wet. So there we go. This is our comparison, right? Here's the back side of the new, it's still drying, so I didn't want to put it down. The new, this Stalogy paper is already dried, and you can see, like, you can even see some shading in the Stalogy paper when you write super thick. It does ghost a lot on the Stalogy. It doesn't help that I'm like flipping it over to show you a page that already has writing on it, but for fairness sake, in the old Tomoe River paper, you almost get hints of red coming out in the shading. A little bit of, I guess you all know I had LASIK at one point. So there you go. Hopefully that picks it up on camera. And in this old Tomoe River paper, you also can see, I can see the hints of the red on the edges of the like deep shade, like the really super wet dip pen Moonman writing. That barely shows up in the Stalogy paper. This definitely finishes really matte, whereas these are both kind of shiny. I actually think it shows up better here. I don't know if that's because I wrote on this first after dipping, so it had like the most ink volume that you could possibly get, but it's there for sure. So I do think this will be beautiful paper with a super, super broad nib. I bet I need to find a stub nib, see if I have one. I think I only have them for my 580s, and I don't like writing with those because I'm weird. All right, let's skip a page and throw stuff on the floor and try some watercolors. All right, I have 2 watercolor sets. I actually think I talked my watercolor sets dry again. I have this that I just got from Josie Lewis. I haven't even tried them yet. And then I have this kind of messy, I think all of my magnetic backers, like that I put on, came off. Palette. It is an assortment of Schminka, I think it said Schminka and Hydrocolor. So where did my brush go? So let's just, I'm not gonna ink, or I'm not gonna get all of them wet. We'll do the pink because I like pink. And then we'll do this pink again. I do have where I swatched these in my previous journal here. So this is most of the, I think these are just some of the Schminka colors with some of the fairy dust and whatnot. Oh, good, I got that wet. Well, we'll see how that goes. On it, I guess I should keep this because let's see if I have, oh, I have one more blank page. All right, we'll test both of these. Am I in frame? $1 million question. Okay. love these Josie Lewis paints. They're so pretty. I was reading like an article that she wrote about how she picked these paints colors, and it basically has to do with like printing color theory, how, you know, initially we were all like red, what the hell are the primary colors? This is hard to think and do and talk at the same time. Red, blue, and yellow. That was like way too hard. And that you can get those and then mix a bunch of beautiful colors off of it. But if you get more of like a, I forget, the cyan, magenta, like printer toner kind of colors, you end up with a brighter palette, and that's what this palette is based on. And I freaking love it. Like new primary colors is how I like to think of it. I'm gonna skip that one. I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful too, but I don't want to swatch all of them. Look at that yellow. I think I still have enough. Maybe I should alternate. I think I might be off the page also. Not off the page, but off the frame. I'll get some more water and thin it out. This is like, well, this is some thick watercolor. Okay. I am also very interested in seeing how this performs, because like we all know what Tomoe River paper does. I meant to start on this one. Okay. So I haven't watercolored in the new paper yet. Like so far, I think the biggest difference really has been, oh, that's a nice wet one I made, has been just the way it feels after writing on it. It feels much closer to how Stalogy paper feels. And like this almost starts to feel like fabric. I'm not describing it well, but like you can feel all the textures, maybe a little bit like homemade paper also. All right, starting on this one, where it's just like super fibrous and like really lived in. I really love that texture feel, and it's definitely not in this. I think we have space for maybe two more. Let's do this one. What color is this? Oh, it's indigo. I was hoping it was purple. Okay, and then thin it out. Ooh, that was a lot of water. That's wet. So I think I might have to pause the video and then come back when these dry, because they are super wet. All right, final thoughts. Maybe this is purple. Winner, winner. And I went to this one first again. Isn't this palette, like seriously, $35? She sells them on, well, I found them on Instagram, but she does have a website. I will do my best to link some of the more obscure things that I'm using in the, I didn't even test any of the hydro colors. In the description box below, just for fun, let's put some hydro color just to see. I'm not gonna, I mean, I have it over here, sort of. Just put it over here. So yeah, I'll link maybe to Hydrocolor. I'll link to Schminke, even though I didn't really swatch anything from Schminke. I'll link to Josie Lewis and all of the inks that I had. I love this one. I don't remember what they're called. Maybe that's Tiffany. Yeah, that's Tiffany. This is Mayhem. So this is Mayhem. This is Tiffany. There you go. And then, because I'm a completionist, let's do the pink, which is called Flamingo. you can see which ones I like. All right, I'm gonna let these dry and then I'll be back and we'll do a flip of all the things that I just swatched in the new one and then in the old Naname. I feel like everybody knows what astrology, like everybody and their mother's done a pen test in astrology and a Hobonichi, so that's maybe neither here nor there. I do have a Taroko shop, one of these that I just bought as well at the same time that I bought this new Naname. I haven't written in it or used it, so I don't know how that compares, but we shall see. All right, I turned the page, but everything is dry. So let's go ahead and do a walkthrough. I will start timestamping here, and if I can, I'll do a timestamp for those that are still with me, of like kind of when I swatch these things down, but I don't know. I'll do my best to put timestamps places. Feel free to timestamp in the comments too. And then pretty much what I think I'm going to do is we'll start with the watercolors that I did first, and then, all right, my phone stand thing broke and that's exciting. So the phone just fell onto the surface. All right, then we'll do the new Tomoe River paper from Naname, the old from Naname, the Hobonichi, and then the Astrology. I do think it's kind of in between Astrology and old Tomoe River paper. I do prefer, like final thoughts, I prefer the old Tomoe River paper to the new Tomoe River paper, but it does shade better than Astrology shades. All right, here we go. That's enough of me talking. So these are those Josie Lewis inks, watercolor inks, and then the Hydra colors, the shimmer that I did. Okay, and then the new, or no, the old Naname. Oh yeah, I'm bad at this. Okay, this is the back side. So this got really, really wet, and it did crinkle up, as you can probably hear. And the back side of the Hydra color. So it does crinkle like you would expect, and it held up as you would expect of Tomoe River paper. I didn't do the Hydra color. These are not the same exact colors, but these are other Hydra colors, shimmers. There's a painting I did with it. Is it weird? I don't know. I feel it's weird to call that a painting. But anywho. Okay, so that's the watercolor. Now let's move on to the inks. So for those, oh, I didn't do the Poscas in here. Best laid plans. All right, here's the Poscas. These three, aqua, my ghost writing in white and black. Okay. And then aqua, white, black in the Hobonichi. Aqua, white, black. I promise I actually wrote there. And then the back side. Okay. And then we have the super tips. These three right here. And the Hobonichi right there. And then the Astrology. And the Mildliners. I did do some swatching with gel pens. So these are just the Uniball Signo, really fine in blue and black, and then a gel pen from Simply Gilded. All of them smear on this. And then I wrote, let it dry. And here is a Mildliner. I think it's this Mildliner over it. Totally changed the color. Didn't make anything bleed through. And then right here, I put the highlighter down and then wrote over it with the gel pen. So similar, except on a couple pages here. So these are the Mildliners. Again, there's that Simply Gilded gel pen over it. These are the Uniball Signos, and then it totally bled, like erased it, everything smeared. So the back side and the back side. Okay, and then on Stology paper, same dealio, Mildliners. This probably held up the best in terms of being able to highlight over the gel pen, but lots of smearing. Okay, so then this 0.005 Le Pen is actually a 0.05, which you can clearly read, and I clearly did not read, but same difference. All right, the fountain pen inks. I don't think I did right in the Iroshizuku. All right, so this is the new one on the fountain pen ink. You can see that it does shade very nicely, especially with a really broad tip. Hopefully this is coming up on camera. It is noticeably red toned, this Tsuki-Yo here in the broad. I might have to put this in a stub nib. Hopefully it is showing up on camera for you. But then there's Cassia, Ku-Jaku, Cement Gray, and then Chiku-Rin. This also shades really nicely. I didn't do the, I did it over here. So Iroshizuku is here, and you can kind of see, to my eye, this is a slightly shinier version of the shading. You get the same kind of shine down here at the really broad ink on, or broad nib with this one, but you don't have the same level of shine in all the others. And that is probably the second biggest difference in this paper. So here we go. Here's Tsuki-Yo. You can see the amount of shading that it pulls out. I do not think it is as much. Let's see if I can get them both on screen. Someday I'll learn how to work these things. So you can see that they do shade. This bottom little scribble is with the dip pen, which writes very wet and broad. Okay. And then if I were to compare that with the Hobonichi, here is the Chiku-Rin. I think this shades more than this one did. For your viewing pleasure. And then here we go. These are the pen test comparisons. And I should have turned these over. So this Cassia went through just a little bit. I did scratch at that quite a lot with a fine nib. And here you can see that it did not. Right, just normal, standard Tomoe River paper ghosting. Okay, and then finally comparing Stology. This is definitely a much flatter finish on all of these inks, including Tsuki-Yo. You get a little bit of the red shading, but nothing like you do over here. And I really hope when I watch this back you can see it. Even in the Chiku-Rin, which also shades, this cement gray here shades a lot too. I'm gonna go grab my current Stology. I was playing around with the dip pen with a bunch of different inks, and so you can kind of get a feel for how much shading you can pull through. But before I do that, this is the back side. I don't think I dug into the paper on the Cassia as much. I don't recall if I showed this. I think I did now that I flipped it over. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, all right, we're on. This is my currently inked page in my Stology. That is an extra fine, and it is Rohrer and Klingner Cassia. And then the TWSBI Pink Echo Fine, it's a fine nib in the Tsuki-Yo. I've drained this once already so far and have re-inked it, and then the Asagao that I showed you really briefly that is out of ink. This does feather a little bit. Ku-Jaku is extra fine. I did switch out the nib and then change out the ink from Noodler's Lexington Gray to cement gray, and you can kind of see how it's shading here. And then I had that Chiku-Rin in a different pen, but I switched that out as well. So this is what I wanted to show you. I can't, well, I guess you're reading it. So this was, I'm just making notes on some digital art, clip art that I was buying. You can see that here, this Diamantis elderberries kind of bled through the page on Astrology, but it's a very wet writer and it's super broad, that Moon In pen. This is that cement gray that I was talking about, and you can kind of see here how it will get some shading in there. So there's all of that. That's mainly what I wanted. Just final thoughts. I wanted to talk about the feel of these pages, and really what made me think I have the new paper is just this starts to feel quilted. I can't come up with a better word to describe it when you've written on the pages and you just have page after page of writing under it. I remember feeling it even as early in a book as I am here, but it's not as prevalent and pronounced. It feels a little bit like used Astrology paper does. This new Tomoe River paper is a little bit softer and does feel a little bit like the old Tomoe River paper. I don't know, somehow this just feels more like homemade paper. I'm not the best at describing it, but does anybody else have two of these notebooks? Have you noticed a difference? Anything? So I hope this was helpful, and talk to you later.